Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Saturday, March 21st. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, ready to break down the Saturday NHL card. As always, a big Saturday slate. We'll get to that in just a moment. We'll look back first on what we saw on Friday night. Winning night, profitable night overall. Carolina, 4-3 overtime win against Toronto. We had team total over 3.5 with the Hurricanes. We needed them to win in overtime to finally cash that sucker, but we finally were able to get that one home. It was David C's best bet, of course, on the show yesterday as well. And the Canes get the job done in overtime with a Alexander Nikishin overtime game-winning goal. I thought the Hurricanes had a really bad first period. I thought they were sluggish. They were asleep. I thought they played better as the game went on, for sure. Got their game together. They ended up still out shooting Toronto 35-26. So we talked about Carolina over shots on goal or Joseph Woll over saves. Either one would have cashed for you last night. And that seems to be the routine lately. It's even something that I'm going to be focusing on betting more, is just whether it's opponent shots on goal or the Toronto Maple Leaf goaltender over saves. They're just giving up shots, like shots upon shots upon shots every single game. It's like that song by Little John. Shots, 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 shots. Everybody. Yeah, that's Toronto right now. As far as giving up shots left and right to their opponents. And it happened again, obviously, last night with that 4-3 loss to the Carolina Hurricanes. So, again, not pretty, but you got the 2 points for Carolina, who seemed pretty safe as far as winning the Metro Division. But, you still want to pick up as many wins as you can here down the stretch. Speaking of teams that need to pick up as many wins as they can down the stretch, the Washington Capitals get a 2-1 win against New Jersey. Not pretty, but they got the win. That's why I was a little hesitant. I did bet over in that game, and it obviously lost, but that's why I was a little worried about it and kept it a smaller bet yesterday, is because I know Washington's trying to keep games low scoring right now. Their offense hasn't been great, and winning 2-1, 3-1 hockey is their modus operandi right now. And we certainly saw that on display last night. It was another very good performance in net from Logan Thompson, who's been really strong for the Capitals here in recent games. 30 more saves on 31 shots. You put that game with the Ottawa game, the previous game, you couldn't ask for two better goaltending performances. Thompson outstanding in both of them. Washington gets a big 2-1 win there against New Jersey. Colorado 4-1 win against Chicago. I guess the only thing I was upset about was Colorado waited until after the first 10 minutes to get their first two goals in that first period after taking the shot with them. But I did have a small piece of the first period over. We did have both teams to score. Chicago couldn't help. So it's just, we had a couple bets where the timing was off a little bit. Chicago did get on the board with the Wyatt Kaiser goal in the second period, but Colorado was pretty much in control of that game. It was just an onslaught on Arvid Soderblom, and we like to rip on Arvid Soderblom quite a bit, but he actually hung in there and did a decent job considering the amount of shots he faced. 49 Colorado Avalanche shots on goal in that game last night, but a nice victory there for the Colorado Avalanche. I was able to get that live team total over 3.5, as well, which was good. It did drop enough to the point where it got to, I think, around even money in the first period before Colorado got that first goal. Nice to know when you have just a thought process in your head about how a game might go, how a certain team might treat a certain game, and it works out perfectly. And I felt it was just a complete clunker, a laying of an egg waiting to happen for the Florida Panthers last night against Calgary, and that's exactly what we saw. A complete throwaway game. They beat Edmonton. That was the game they were stoked for. That was the game they got up for. They always get excited to play the Oilers, the team they faced in the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row. And then on a back-to-back, going home after that game last night in Calgary to end the road trip, you kind of felt that this could be a game they just slough off, and they did. They were definitely not great in that game, Florida, last night, and that's why I took Calgary. Thought it was a great spot to fade Florida and take Calgary, and it worked out to perfection. 4-1 win for the Calgary Flames in that game. Ugly incident, though, unfortunately, in that one with A.J. Greer just plowing poor Connor Zary into the boards from behind. He should get a suspension for that. And like I said, if he's already been flirting AJ Greer with being the biggest piece of shit right now in the NHL. He might have the crown by himself now after that last night. That's indefensible. That's a hit that you've got to lay back and you've got to ease up. When you see someone that vulnerable and you see the numbers staring at you and he's that close to the boards, you got to ease up. You cannot make that hit, but he did. Reckless, bonehead, and maybe intent to injure. Maybe he was thinking, I'm frustrated or whatever. We're losing in the hockey game. Let's just, just cross-check this guy right into the boards. And people will say, yeah, but he fell into the ice and then into the boards. He didn't have to make that hit. That's the point. He didn't have to make that hit at all. And he was close enough to the boards where he shouldn't have done anything. So it was a very stupid, bonehead decision to hit him like that. AJ Greer, he should get a suspension. And with George Parros these days, though, you never know. It's basically the wheel of fortune, spin the wheel as far as discipline and what games it is. Is it a phone hearing? Is it an in-person hearing? Let's spin the wheel and figure out what we're going to do here. I mean, you just never know, but he should get something for that. Because obviously AJ Greer's been involved in some dubious incidents in the past, and you just hope Connor Zary is going to be he's not going to miss too much time, although I do worry he's going to miss some time here for the Calgary Flames. But the Flames get a nice 4-1 win over the Panthers last night. Oh, and finally, hallelujah! Oh, sweet baby Jesus! I'm telling you, the best bet drought is over. We are finally winners with the best bet on the show once again, as the Anaheim Ducks came through for me, a team that I've put a lot of trust in this season. I like the spot for them, catching Utah on a back-to-back after a big win in Vegas. Anaheim off a frustrating loss against Philadelphia. And it didn't start well for Anaheim. They gave up the first goal, and they were getting caved in early in that game. Lukas Dostal actually stood very tall in that first period for Anaheim because the shots were, I think, 14-3 at one point for Utah. But they got out of that period only down 1-0, and you could kind of sense that Anaheim had survived, and maybe this was their game to have, and they got stronger after that. Actually, they got the short-handed goal by Ryan Poehling. I forgot about that. With about 6 minutes to go in the first period, is what tied it at 1, and that seemed to be the moment that flipped the game toward Anaheim. I thought Anaheim settled down at that point, started to play much better. I thought the tired legs of Utah started to show up in the latter two periods. That's when they slowed down, and Anaheim kind of carried the play, and they end up getting a 4-1 victory last night over Utah. Killorn got the 2-1 goal in the second, and then a pair of empty netters from Cutter Gauthier and Mikael Granlund for Anaheim to put it away 4-1. I thought it was a very, very strong road third period against Utah last night. They dug in defensively. They didn't give the Mammoth a ton, and the couple chances they had, Dostal was there to make the save. That's the proof that they can play that way when they put their minds to it. Anaheim. Yep. They can shut it down. They can protect a lead. We've seen these games at times, and Coach Q is still working with them every single day. It's a young group. They're going to have their flaws. They're going to have their blemishes when it comes to playing defense and holding leads. But you can tell they're still working at it, and they can do it when they want to, and they put their minds to it, and they execute. And they did. They played a great defensive game once they got the lead last night against Utah. So credit to the Ducks. Nice bounce back victory. And thankfully, don't have to hear about that best bet losing skid anymore after yesterday's Anaheim win. Alex, your thoughts on Friday night?
Yeah, that was really the biggest game, I think, of the night when you look at, the situation, potential first round playoff matchup. And like you said, Utah getting out to a good start, but then Dostal locking in, Anaheim kind of, like you said, settling in, not panicking in the moment, and being able to just, get back to their game. That's huge. If you're going to see that team a month from now in the playoffs, and we just talked about it yesterday, I was talking about with Utah, that's kind of rarefied air for Utah. You say the same thing for Anaheim, a team that hasn't won in a long time either. But being able to play playoff-style hockey, you'll hear me say a lot once we get into April and May, talking about game situations and looking at series from a period-by-period basis. That's kind of the way that game played out last night. It was a tale of three periods. And that's important for Anaheim to win those games. And it's tough to see Utah lose another game like that and come away with 0 points. Now, great, that's a better team. You're not losing to a Chicago or losing to some other bottom feeder. But when you're now in this spot where you're trying to get points, and keep in mind, it's wild card or nothing for Utah. Minnesota's not losing that third spot in the Central, so you got the Kings right behind you with 6 points. Seattle, Nashville, San Jose still alive. This is can be distressing, and a couple more losses like this for Utah now, they could be some significant trouble. So you have to find ways to get victories in spots like that, especially take advantage of games at home. Colorado, first team to clinch the playoffs officially, first team to reach 100 points. And that game, I was lucky to get the push there. It should have really been a 6-1, 7-1 game. Like you said, Arvid Soderblom made some huge saves early, and even late, even in the middle of that frame of that contest, Hawks seemed to be trying to get just some momentum going, but then it was all Colorado second period, all Colorado third period. You knew right away that third period starts, Donato takes a bonehead penalty, and you can just tell right away this is going to be a Colorado goal. This is Colorado's game down the stretch. So, and it's interesting now. Keep this in mind when we talk about teams clinching playoff spots. More than likely, they'll clinch the division first, President's Trophy, all those things. You want to be careful that first game after they clinch, especially with the teams that talk about divisions. They know where their place are. They don't really have much to play for, and with all this condensed hockey down the stretch, that first game, especially if they say they clinch the division and then they have a game that next night on the road somewhere, those will be spots where you might want to fade them. You might see some lineup changes. You might see some key guys sit out. So definitely want to check those things. That happens this time of year. For those who aren't familiar with the grind of hockey late in the season, betting wise, you may see some lineup changes. You may see some backup goalies or called up players once teams have clinched their spots and know where they are in their playoff standing.
I call it college hockey call-up season, and we're going to see that.
Yeah.
I know Bruins fans are already going like this, rubbing their hands together about the prospect of James Higgins, who just saw his team got bounced last night, Boston College, in that. It was a great game. Boston College and UConn in the Hockey East semifinal last night. They ended up losing in overtime, and now James Higgins is going to definitely be someone that I think will be in a Boston Bruins jersey and lineup before the end of the regular season, probably very soon. No question. Yeah. So I know a lot of Bruins fans.
Hawks fans are getting all excited about Sasha Boisvert.
Yeah.
With that BU, once he's going to be coming, he'll be ready. So yeah, that's definitely, and that's something bargain bins. Some of these kids might get thrown right into the fire, thrown right into the top six. To see if they can prove themselves late, and you find some really good value on some goal props too around the side.
No doubt. I always look for. I think last year I remember down the stretch, once these college players started to join NHL teams, we were starting to look at what's their goal prop tonight, and we found some pretty good value. Certainly with some of those players, and that's definitely something I'll be looking for once again when they join their teams here with their seasons ending. Of course, there's going to be a lot of teams that it'll still take until the Frozen Four tournament ends to see them join the NHL, but certainly Boston College, now that they cannot make the NCAA college hockey tournament, James Higgins is on that short list to be with the Bruins pretty soon, no question. Before we get to the Saturday card, just a programming alert. There's only one game on Monday, so we are going to talk about the Monday game on Sunday's show tomorrow, and we will not have a show Monday. So there'll be no show Monday with only just the one game on the schedule. We'll talk about the Monday game tomorrow, off Monday, and then, of course, a massive Tuesday. It'll be me and Matty Robb. Alex will be off Tuesday afternoon on the Ice Guys, but it'll be me and Matty Robb Tuesday afternoon for the daily show to talk the huge Tuesday card. And, of course, the BetCast Tuesday night. It's been a while because of all the craziness and how busy things have been with the NCAA tournament. We've had to put the BetCasts on the back burner here in the month of March, but we are excited about this Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, free-for-all BetCast. This is our monthly free-for-all public BetCast. Tuesday night, March 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern. DM or email me or Alex for a spot on the BetCast, and we'll send you the link for it before it begins. Although, VIP treatment to the Patreon members. They're the first come, first serve. If we get to capacity, we're going to kick the non-Patreons out, and we'll give the spot to a Patreon. We got to do that. And that's why they pay the $10 a month for special perks, special incentives like that. So live BetCast Tuesday night, March 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to it. And this will be all night. We'll be on for the entire card on Tuesday night. So looking forward to that. And, of course, no college basketball Tuesday night, which is why I scheduled it. so that we could focus on hockey and give it the attention that it deserves.
It's
All
a
right, let's
massive
get into
card too. I think that night
yes,
it's like 15
it's a great
games
card. It's an
because
excellent
of
card.
the uneven week. So
No doubt. And good games. So, that's another thing, too. It's certainly from a fan standpoint, there's some really good games, big time playoff implication, meaning on that Tuesday night. So we're looking forward to it. All right. We're looking forward to Saturday. Very interesting how they did this from a schedule standpoint. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, there's 11 games today, but do you know that only 5 of the 11 games are night games? Very interesting. 5 of the 11 are night games. 6 of the 11 are day games. So it's pretty much balanced between day games and night games here for this Saturday card. So we do have a handful of day games, starting with a game that will begin in about 30 minutes from now, 1 p.m. Eastern. We've got the Winnipeg Jets taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh minus 150 to minus 160 in that range currently as a home favorite. And the total here sitting at, it looks like 6. It was 6, and I'm seeing the 6s starting to disappear and 6.5s starting to appear now as far as the total for this Jets and Penguins game. And, of course, Pittsburgh's been on this massive overrun going into this game this afternoon, and I'm riding the streak. I did bet over 6. Now, I am concerned with the Jets, or sometimes a team that on the road especially, they can kind of play a bit of a low and slow style of game, although their defense and Connor Hellebuck, not their best game. The last time we saw them to start their road trip, losing 6-1 to the Boston Bruins. The Jets will be looking to bounce back here in this one against Pittsburgh. Penguins coming off a 5-game road trip. They lost 3 of the 5 games on that road trip, but still, it was a road trip chock full of really tough opponents. Carolina twice. They lost both of those games, bookending the road trip. First game of the trip was a 5-4 shootout loss at Carolina. The last game of the road trip was a 6-5 overtime loss at Carolina. You don't see that every day, do you? Look at this. 5-game road trip, Alex, and you start the road trip in one building and you end the road trip in the same building against the same team. You don't see that very often.
That's rare.
That is rare. And that's what we saw with Pittsburgh. But that was a tough road trip because you had Carolina, you had Vegas, you had Utah, you had Colorado, and you had Carolina again. So it was definitely a chock full of a bunch of tough opponents. But now it's that first game home off a road trip. Winnipeg off the loss to Boston. I also sprinkled on Winnipeg first goal, first period in this game. I just coming off a stinker against Boston. Looking to bounce back. Obviously, look, they're probably not making the playoffs, but they're not totally out of it. And they're talking the talk like, hey, we're still going to give it our best best punch that we can, best shot that we can to try to get in. So I could see them maybe catching Pittsburgh a little flat-footed first 20 minutes coming off that road trip. And Winnipeg, I expect a strong start, strong effort to the game after the 6-1 loss to the Bruins the other night. So I'll dabble in the Winnipeg first goal, first period at plus money. I'm on over 6 here in this game just because we're riding this Pittsburgh over streak. Pittsburgh, it's been track meet city of late, 7 straight overs for them. The question is they going to grab Winnipeg into a up and down affair? They've been able to grab everybody else into an up and down affair. Can they do that here to the Winnipeg Jets is the question. But I'm riding the streak, as you guys know, and it is just confirmed. I was thinking maybe Eric Comrie today because there's some hesitation on them confirming their goaltender. It hadn't happened right away, but it has been confirmed just now. It will be Connor Hellebuck in net for the Winnipeg Jets. Artur Shilov's getting the start here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And both Pittsburgh goalies have not been great of late, Shilov's or Skinner, but the defense hasn't been great in front of these goalies either. So that's part of the issue. Alex, what do you think here? First game on the board, Winnipeg, Pittsburgh.
There's still a couple of 6s floating around, like you mentioned. BetOnline has 6 minus $1.25, so I'm just going to wait for that in-game to drop closer to plus money at a 6 or maybe hopefully a 5.5. But like I said, goals the only thing I look at, and even though it is an early start, and I worry about Winnipeg, like I said, on the road and in the early start, this is not really Jets territory. Penguins tend to play more day games than Winnipeg, so. But like I said, I think Pittsburgh can do the bulk of the lifting. I think even with Hellebuck in net. I'm still not worried about, like I said, they're going to give up goals, but they're going to score some goals as well. So just wait for the 6 to drop. Like I said, $1.25, try and get that closer to plus money or even a 5.5 from you.
One thing that I've noted too, another thing that kind of drew me to the first goal, first period with the Jets here in this game is that I believe 3 of the last 4 games on the road trip, Pittsburgh allowed the first goal. The only game they scored the first goal was that 7-2 beatdown over Colorado. That was it. The 3 of the other three of the last 4 road games, excluding the Colorado game, they allowed the first goal. So, like I said, I think it's a good situation. It's a solid situational bet. Taking a shot with Winnipeg, first goal, first period here in this game, catching Pittsburgh off the road trip. And like I said, I like that over as well. Just riding the 7-0 over streak for the Pittsburgh Penguins. As far as goal props here for this game, we've got Rust has scored in 3 straight games. Do we have to bet Taser, Captain Serious? I don't know. Maybe we do. He's suddenly scored in back-to-back games for the Winnipeg Jets, and he's done this before where he just all of a sudden, whoa, he scored in 2 straight games out of nowhere. Jonathan Taves. And plus 550, is the price you're getting. So I think that's worth a little dabble here if you want some early action here on this first game off the board. Erik Karlsson has scored in back-to-back games for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and you're getting a rich price in the plus 450 range for him to find the back of the net as well.
We didn't talk enough about that move that he put on Sebastian Aho the other night. Was absolutely insane.
Filthy.
That was filthy. Yeah.
Now 480, I'm even seeing at Novig. So like I said, really good price there for and Erik Karlsson, say what you will, he's never going to be great in his own zone. We know it. That ship sailed a long time ago. But he can be dynamic when he wants to turn it up offensively and skate and lug the puck. And he's always had great gifts offensively as an offensive defenseman. There's no doubt. And he has put that on display, I think, here in recent games. No question. I guess the only other props I'd maybe look at, Shinikov and Kindle, I'm always interested in. Mantha for Pittsburgh. Those are some players that have been in decent form for Winnipeg. Iafallo might be with Scheifele and Connor, so probably some value there, and maybe a look toward Velarde, who's picked it up of late as well for the Winnipeg Jets. All right, Vegas and Nashville. We've got Vegas minus 135, road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. I'm not laying it with Vegas. I know that. It's just, do I want to bet Nashville? But I can't lay minus 135 with Vegas right now. Although, they are going on the road, and I think there's been some evidence in the past that they have a couple of rough games at home. They go on the road, and sometimes it's almost a good thing for them. So would I be shocked if Vegas wins? Then they are still the better team. On paper, they are. They're not exactly playing up to their the numbers on the back of their hockey cards, as I guess you could say right now, this Vegas Golden Knights team. Nashville, meanwhile, off a 3-1 win against Seattle. We'll see if they can bounce back. Vegas shut out in back-to-back home games entering this first game of this road trip against Nashville. They played Dallas and Winnipeg on the road after this. 2-0 loss to Buffalo, 4-0 loss to Utah, both at home. I mean, this is a spot where if based on our system play, we should be looking at over bifecta here. But can you trust Vegas to score? Because the off a shutout loss angle, at least last year when it was so strong, said bet first period over, bet full game over. I might dabble in the first period. I don't know if I want to bet an over 6 full game. I think live 5.5 I'll bet, but not at 6. First period over, I might dabble in that just because you got Vegas off back-to-back shutout losses. If there's ever a time to open up the floodgates and open up the game, if you will, for Vegas and take some chances offensively, take some risks, it's now. It's this game this afternoon after being shut out at home in back-to-back games. So they can't put the puck in the ocean right now, Pie Guy. That's true, 100%. There's no argument, but it's not like Nashville's a great, defensive team consistently one game to the next. They can be great against an inconsistent Seattle team, but we'll see. Saros should be in net. I believe Saros should be in net, although they've got him listed as day-to-day. He has been dealing with an upper body injury. That's why Oninen got the start the other night, so we'll have to wait and see on his status. Aiden Hill projected, not yet confirmed, though, for Vegas in net. This is one where I'm not betting I lean Nashville, but I'm going to wait, see how it starts. I cannot lay a price like this with Vegas right now. That much I can tell you. But I'm not rushing to bet the Predators. I'll probably sprinkle on a first period over, and anything else I will look at will be live during the game. And Antonio's right. We've called him useless Oninen a lot. Oninen's been better lately. He's turned it up after a brutal start. I think a lot of his more recent starts Oninen have been, you're right, that's the word, serviceable. He has been a little bit better of late. Alex, what do you think here, Vegas, Nashville?
Yeah, like I said, I think we see goals early, but I don't know if we're going to get goals throughout this entire contest. I'm on that first period over 1.5 minus 128 available at FanDuel, along with plus 164 for both teams to score in the first period. I did take a small piece of the draw, plus 331, which is available at Bet Online. Just like I said, at Vegas, I could see them, they need points. Nashville desperately needs points if they want to still, I mean, they're pretty much out of it, but they still mathematically can be involved in the race. So this is definitely two teams that need points. If it's tied close, especially with Vegas, if you're trailing, this is a spot where you got to step up and say, we got to take the reins here, try and win this game, get some points out of it. After being shot on back-to-back spots. So a little piece of the draw, but I like first period over, first period, both teams to score a bit more.
There you go. First period over. First period, both teams to score for Alex here with Golden Knights and Predators. Forsberg scored, by the way, in back-to-back games. Matthew Wood is the value for me with Nashville. 2 of the last 5 and 4 of the last 10. He scored a goal, and he's plus 330 for the Predators. If I'm going to look at anyone for Vegas, I don't think they're getting shut out for a third straight game. I do think this is a game where they'll put some pucks in the net. You would sure as hell hope so if you're a Golden Knights fan. But close shave Barbashev is with Eichel and Stone on the top line. There's some value there. Dorofeyev, look toward him maybe as well. Here's one that I'm going to go with here. He's a former Predator, former player angle and play, Colton Sissons. Colton Sissons here for the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll take a shot with him maybe to be one of the players that can help the Vegas Golden Knights today bust out of this little slump offensively that they are currently in. All right, next up, another afternoon game. We've got the Philadelphia Flyers finishing their West Coast 3-game road trip against San Jose. San Jose minus 115 home favorites. Total here sitting at, looks like 6, a flat 6 pretty much across the board in this game. You know what? I think this is a San Jose spot. I do. I think this is a San Jose spot. But they're favored. And they've not been good as a favorite. They haven't been favored very often. But I know they haven't been good and I've been burned multiple times taking them as a favorite. But it's the only side I could endorse. I do lean to the Sharks here in this game. I think when you look at it for Philly, they had the win against Los Angeles to start the road trip. They had obviously the win against Anaheim in overtime in that last game as well. This is the game that could trip them up. I've seen this before. You're 2-0 on the road trip in California. It's not always easy to complete the perfect 3-0 sweep of the California road trip. And with San Jose off, they had a tough spot there against a red-hot Buffalo Sabres team after that 5-game road trip where they played in Buffalo, Boston, Montreal, Ottawa, Edmonton. They got Buffalo in the first game home after that road trip, struggled, lost 5-0. That being said, they actually outshot the Sabres 23-16, but unfortunately in that game, Alex Lyon was terrific in net with the 23-save shutout. We'll have to see, too, about the goaltending situation for San Jose. Yaroslav Askarov has been dealing with a lower body injury that's kept him out the last few games. They've had to roll with Alex Nedeljkovic, game in and game out. We'll see if Askarov's available today. If he's not, it's probably going to be Nedeljkovic once again. There's some injuries, too. Like I said, Toffoli's out. He's not going to play. Desharnais day-to-day. Igor Chernyshov day-to-day for the San Jose Sharks as well. We do have a couple on the injury report, though, for the Flyers as well. We've got Denver Barkey, Sean Couturier, and Luke Glendening all day-to-day and currently on the injury report for the Flyers. And what's very concerning about that, Barkey, Couturier, and Glendening, is you're talking about guys that are all in the center ice position pretty much or can play center. So you could be very thin down the middle today. You could be looking at Zegras, Dvorak, Cates, and Wilson suddenly being your 4 centers for the Philadelphia Flyers today in this game. So they could be a little thin down the middle. I might end up biting the bullet and taking San Jose. I really do think it's a great spot for them. I do. After, tough shutout loss to Buffalo. I don't know if I fully trust Philly to complete the sweep on this road trip. They got some injuries down in the middle. They're bad as a favorite, 1-3, as Jonathan puts in the chat there. But I feel so strongly that this is a spot for them today, this afternoon, to bounce back, get back in the win column here. So lean San Jose. I probably will end up betting it for something. I'll tell you what I am betting for sure. the draw. Have to bet the draw right now with Philadelphia. 4 straight games have gone past regulation for the Flyers. 4 straight draw cashes. How about draws in 6 of the last 9 games overall for the Philadelphia Flyers as well, entering this game here this afternoon. When you look at head-to-head, we've seen 4 of the last 9 meetings go past regulation. This is East versus West, and we always talk about how that's significant for draw consideration. Flyers aren't going to give a damn that the Sharks get a point, and vice versa. The Sharks aren't going to give a damn that the Flyers get a point in this game. So the draw must bet when you're talking about a team like the Flyers that have gone past regulation in 4 straight games. Alex, Flyers, Sharks.
This passes all the draw season parameters, like you said, East versus West. Flyers on a 4-game streak at 6 of 9. Seen history with these 2 teams. Both teams needing points in their respective races. Early start time, 1 o'clock local time, which is something that San Jose is not really as familiar with as Philly. Philly plays a little bit few more day games than San Jose. All of this lines up to the draw. I got plus 315 with that, but I'm sprinkled with Sharks to win in overtime or shootout plus 500 at FanDuel. That's the way I'm going to back San Jose. I think this does go past regulation. I think San Jose has the edge.
I'm right alongside Jonathan Davis with Noah Cates. Back-to-back games with a goal in that plus 490 range is what I'm seeing for him to score for the Flyers. Yep, that's definitely something that you got to look at with the nice back-to-back game goal scoring streak. Looks like plus 475 still out there. Plus 400 at draft. It's actually come down a bit, but plus 470 at a couple of places. Novig's got plus 475. That looks like the best price. DraftKings has plus 400, but still some pretty good prices there as far as Noah Cates going into this game. Owen Tippett has scored in 3 of the last 5. I'm going back to the well with Colin Graff, too, for San Jose. You know, in that plus 350 range is what we're looking at for Graff. Plus 350 to find the back of the net. Not only 3 of the last 5 games has he scored, but he also scored against Philadelphia previously, Colin Graff. I think it was the last time they played the Philadelphia Flyers. He scored against them. Was it the December 9th game? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was the December 9th game in Philly. The Flyers won 4-1. San Jose only scored 1 goal in that game, and it was Colin Graff that scored that goal for the San Jose Sharks. So that's something and it was the first goal of the game. Do I dare look at a Sharks first goal scorer or just first goal and Sharks first team goal? Colin Graff, maybe. That's something to keep in mind as well. Kurashev, yep, absolutely. Looks like, now I know he's not Alex's favorite player by any stretch of the imagination. You talk about someone that frustrated him as a Blackhawk fan when he was in Chicago, but he is going to be with Celebrini and Will Smith, the Fresh Prince, the other Fresh Prince, as I like to say, Will Smith. Got to look at Philip Kurashev, considering his position in the lineup, playing with Mac and Will Smith. So I agree with that. Philip Kurashev.
Yeah. Do you take Will Smith going against Philly? I mean, that's kind of a built-in angle right there, right?
That's true, yeah. if you're going with all the fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air cliches, you might as well finish the job and bet him to score against the Philadelphia team. Obviously, that is where the character Will Smith from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air came from, Philadelphia, before he moved to Bel-Air, California, in the mansion with his aunt and uncle. So there you go. It's a great show, by the way. Like I said, that was, they don't make them as good, I think, as from a sitcom standpoint as they did back in that era. There was a lot of good shit back then. All right, speaking of good shit, Buffalo Sabres are delivering a lot of good shit. Good hockey on a nightly basis. The Buffalo Sabres continue their California sojourn against the Los Angeles Kings. Buffalo minus 125, road favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. Sabres are past. There's no chance in hell I'm fading the Sabres. None. 0 right now. They just keep finding ways to win. They got their head down. It's all about business right now. They're playing great at both ends of the ice. And not to mention, there's certainly that element to this game where if Alex Lyon goes, he's going to be looking for that consecutive road game win streak record, which is something that is going to be on the line here for the Buffalo Sabres if he plays. Now, Lindy Ruff's kind of been going back and forth between UPL and Alex Lyon of late. So with that in mind, perhaps this is going to be a game where he goes back. Yes, it is UPL. So I would have absolutely Buffalo might have been best bet for me if Alex Lyon was in net, because if Alex Lyon was in net, he'd be going for the consecutive road win streak record today. And you don't think Buffalo would be playing their ass off to get him that record? Absolutely, they would. But UPL is confirmed. It will be Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. That clip, man. That's, if you didn't check it out that I posted, check it out. It's funny to hear him pronounce his name in that Finnish accent. But UPL in net here for Buffalo. I still think I'll be on the Sabres, though. -1. I mean, they're just playing so good. The price is cheap. I know LA had the little coach bump for DJ Smith, but they're still having a hard time getting over that. They're playing hard. The effort's not been an issue. But it's still been kind of an up and down slog, if you will. One thing I will say, though, and the caution I have with really going full bore on betting Buffalo here is this team, since the coaching change, has yet to lose 2 in a row. And they have done very well bouncing back off a loss. They lost to Colorado in the first game after the coaching change. They beat the Islanders. They lost to Montreal. They beat Columbus. They lost to Boston. They beat the Islanders. They lost to the Devils. They bounced back. They beat the Rangers. Now they're off the 4-3 shootout loss to Philly, and the pattern says they bounce back here and win against Buffalo. But no, I'm not. There's no chance I'm fading Buffalo right now. So it's Sabres or pass. I haven't bet it yet. Not sure I will, but I could only be on Buffalo here. Alex, what do you think? Sabres, Kings?
I took a small piece of Buffalo. I got -$1.20 earlier this morning, and I would look to add on if the Kings can get a lead. Buffalo's down and you get plus money here, then I would look to grab Sabres. That's kind of the way I'm playing this one. Being an early start, I'm not going all in on this one, but I do like Buffalo in the spot.
I'll wait for a live over because I'm still not off. I'm not getting off the Kings over train, and we cashed a ticket with the over against Philadelphia in their last game. But I'm not touching it pregame at 6.5. I'm going to wait, see if I can get maybe a slow start. It is a day game. It's 1 p.m. local start in Los Angeles. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a slow start. We'll get a better number in game. So this is going to be a live over for me with the Buffalo Sabres and the LA Kings. Not to mention, look, Buffalo on this road trip, they've been playing tight and great defensively. Back-to-back shutout wins, 4 straight unders for Buffalo, 9-1 to the, or 7-2, I should say, to the under in their last 9 games. So that's another reason where I'm more interested in looking at a live over and hoping we see a 5.5 at some point. If we do, then I'll get involved with the total. All right, as far as props go, I mean, I'm going to sprinkle here for the Sabres on Sam Carrick. He scored last game 10-1. He's actually scored in 2 of the last 5 games, 4 of the last 10 games entering this one. Something about, him down the lineup. He's been getting some opportunities. He's been getting some chances. And that Krebs, Carrick, Malenstein combination, since Lindy put it together, has been pretty good for them. Zach Benson with Thompson and Tuck, I think there's some value there as far as a goal prop on the Sabres side of the equation. Kopitar has scored in 3 of the last 5 games. He's started to heat up a little bit for the LA Kings. So maybe you look toward him plus 360 to find the back of the net for the Los Angeles Kings going into this one. Trevor Moore has had some success of late as well. Maybe you go in that direction for LA as well. He's playing with Byfield and Laferriere for this game. So a couple of props there that piquing my interest when it comes to that Sabres-Kings matchup. All right, next up, it's the last game of the afternoon slate. Actually, no, it's not. There's a 5 p.m. Eastern game as well. So never mind. But this is probably the best game of the afternoon slate. Dallas and Minnesota, just down the road from Alex Grand Casino Arena. We've got Dallas minus 130, road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Price is cheap. Give me Dallas. It's really that simple. I mean, they can't win at home all of a sudden, this Minnesota Wild team. They've got the home ice advantage has just crumbled on this team right now. Now, you could argue, like, if you have any inkling of catching Dallas, it's a must-win. Must-win doesn't equal will win. I don't like what I'm seeing. The offense has been disjointed lately for the Minnesota Wild. All of a sudden, they've slumped here in this building, losing 4 straight at home to Philly, to the Rangers, to Toronto, to Chicago. 3 of those damn home losses are against teams that aren't even sniffing the playoffs, for crying out loud. I mean, so they
last
really
place.
Yeah,
Last place, never
exactly.
mind. Not even out of the playoff race. They're dead last in the
Yeah,
divisions.
cheap price, man. It just is. I mean, if Dallas even plays moderately well, I think they're going to be able to get this job done here on the road against Minnesota. Not to mention, of course, Kaprizov out, Eriksson Ek out. Here we go again. Here come the injuries as well for the Minnesota Wild, the key players once again. What's troubling you, Gus? What's troubling Gus? Looks like it's going to be Philip Gustafsson here in net for the Wild. Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like what I'm seeing at the moment from this from this Minnesota Wild team, especially on home ice. So I'll take Dallas here minus 130. I will grab a piece of the draw though as well, because when you look at Dallas here, 4 of the last 7 games for the Dallas Stars have gone past regulation. We've had 2 of the last 5 head-to-head between these teams also go past regulation. I think what I like too is the last time Dallas played Minnesota was actually here in Minnesota. Minnesota took it to them and won 5-2. So I think Dallas gets a little payback here. So I'll lay the modest minus 130 with the Stars and a smaller sprinkle on the draw for me as well. Alex, what do you think? Dallas, Minnesota.
Not so fast on that draw. I like Dallas here in regulation, plus 118. Now, I did grab a little piece of money line minus $1.20 yesterday because that was a crazy price. Knew that was going to move, but still $1.30, $1.35. You could lay that and cover yourself, or I think this is a spot where Dallas takes care of business and gets 2 points in regulation. Like I said, this is a Minnesota team that's slumping right now. No Kaprizov, no Eriksson Ek. We know how this team looks when those 2 guys are out of the lineup, and how their offense can just completely fall apart. And Kaprizov's your second best passer on the ice offensively outside of Quinn Hughes. So now, if you take him out of the equation with how bad they're playing, the puck movement is just going to be, I think, just dog shit right now. So give me Dallas within 60.
All right, Dallas in regulation. No overtime, says Alex. No draw. No draw season here for Alex in this one with the Stars and the Wild. As far as props here for this game, yeah, Bobby Brink, is he? Are we finally going to see him today? Yeah, it looks like it for the Minnesota Wild. Actually, he returned against Chicago, the second game of the home and home against Chicago. Yeah, he did play in that game. I'll still sprinkle on it though. Like I said, I do think there's going to be value for him. Looks like for me, the only other one I would bet from a prop standpoint for Minnesota is Urov. I do think Urov with Boldy and Johansson, the new look first line for Minnesota without Kaprizov. I'd be looking in that direction. And I'm going to just run it back with some of the Dallas players that I've talked about. Bork, Ben has been better lately. Duchesne stepped it up. Sam Steele. I mean, Sam Steele's got to be an option every time. He's been really chipping in lately on that second line for the Dallas Stars. So those are some props of mine for this one. All right, last game for the afternoon slate on this Saturday. We've got the Seattle Kraken, Columbus Blue Jackets at Nationwide. We've got Columbus minus 170, home favorites. Total here 6.5, shaded to the under in this game. I think I'm probably going to run it back with Jackets team total over 3.5 again. And I'll put it out there now rather than waiting until the next game. I don't do this very often, but I wanted to get a little creative here with this spot for Columbus with their team total and another team that I like from a team total standpoint. Normally I don't do this because usually if I like the team total, I'll just bet it straight at the number that it is. In this case, the 3.5. But just for a little bit of security, what I did was I went with a rare team total over parlay where I took Columbus team total over 2.5 and I put it with Ottawa team total over 2.5 against Toronto in the Battle of Ontario, minus 120. So there you go. Just because I could see this being a 3-1 Columbus win, 3-2 Columbus win against Seattle. I'm not totally convinced they get to the 4 mark in this game against Seattle this afternoon. But I do think they get to 3, and they probably win this game. So the main bet is going to be that team total parlay. Columbus over 2.5 with Ottawa over 2.5. Minus 130 is the price I was able to get on that. Minus 130. Good enough price to get involved. If you want to make the price better, you could go. What you could do is go Columbus over 2.5 and stick with Ottawa over 3.5. You'll get a better price on it at that point in time. But yeah, I don't do this often, but I'm gonna. The main bet here is I've got small piece of Columbus team total over 3.5, but The main bet's the parlay of 2.5 for Columbus and Ottawa. Also, team total over 2.5 at -130 here in this game. Looks like for goaltending in this matchup, Merzlikins is projected for the Jackets. Now, it's been Greaves for a couple of starts in a row for the Blue Jackets, but it looks like this could be a Merzlikins start for Columbus. Joey Decord projected for the Seattle Kraken. He was in net against Nashville. I thought he played well. He didn't score anything for him. It was the first time the offense looked a little like the old Kraken offense since the Bobby McMahon came on board and revitalized this team a little bit offensively. We'll see how this one plays out. It's a front end of a back-to-back, says Jonathan, which is probably why Elvis might get this start, the front end of the back-to-back. I'll look at a live over too if it's Merzlikins. I'm not taking it at 6.5, but at 5.5, I'll try to jump in with a live over here with Kraken and Jackets. Alex, what do you think here? Oh, by the way, draw 2. I think this is a good, reasonable draw spot as well. East versus West. These are huge points for both of these teams right now. Columbus enters this game for the first time since they put this run together in a playoff spot. Right now in the East, Seattle is just hanging on for dear life. But these teams need points desperately. If we have a 2-2, 3-3 situation late in the third, I think it's just get the points secured for both sides in this game. I could see it. We did see this game, or these two teams go to a shootout back in November in Seattle. The Jackets won 2-1 in a shootout in Seattle. We've seen, obviously, not many overtime games, draw games with Seattle lately, but we've sure seen a lot from Columbus. 5 of their last 10 games have gone past regulation. So I still think it's a good draw parameter spot here with this one. Alex, Seattle, Columbus.
Yeah, all those parameters you mentioned, along with the great price at BetOnline, plus 330 with that draw, jumped all over that. But I also like this first period over as well, -122. And Addison's throwing in the chat, Seattle 10-1 run to the first period over. Columbus 19-3 to the goal in the first 10 minutes. So those are some solid trends to back first period over with a decent price, except -122 there.
All right, excellent. As far as props go, we'll get we'll give Bobby McMahon another shot here. He's not going to score every game. Finally, got the whole team obviously had a rough night offensively in Nashville, but we'll go back to the well with Bobby McMahon here for Seattle. You're still getting pretty good prices here with him, especially because this is a road game. They're a little bit more of a sizable underdog. You're getting plus 300 right on the button at DraftKings with Bobby McMahon here for Seattle tonight. Connor Garland, plus 380. I like that as far as a goal prop for the Jackets here in this game. Those are the main ones that I'd be going with here as far as goal props for the Kraken and the Blue Jackets. All right, next up as we continue along here, we've got let me see. Okay, the rest of the games are all at night. Battle of Ontario to get the Saturday night portion of the card underway. Toronto, Ottawa minus 280, home favorites, 6 the total here in this game. Like I said, I've got Ottawa as part of that over 2.5 team total parlay with Columbus at minus 130. I've also got a separate Ottawa team total over 3.5 at minus 35 is what I've got with the Sens team total over 3.5 by itself. Yeah, over 3.5 minus 135. Ottawa team total over by itself. I mean, that's just the way to go about it against Toronto right now, is just look at team total over as the pathway to fade them right now. And I think now the problem with Ottawa is, we've seen this before. I mean, they generate chances, they generate shots, they control the flow, they control the play, they dominate territorially, and they'll score 2-3 goals. That's been an issue at times for Ottawa. But gosh, if there's ever a night that finally the floodgates open, and they finally put 4 on the board, it's tonight here against this Toronto team with Anthony Stolarz in net, by the way, because it's a back-to-back. They gave Joe Woll the start last night, so you will see Stolarz tonight. Linus Ullmark in net for the Ottawa Senators. So, yeah, running it back. We cashed the team total over 3.5 with Carolina last night against Toronto. We'll go with over 3.5 here tonight with this Ottawa team total. And again, also got Ottawa parlayed with Columbus with that over 2.5 at minus 130. And yeah, Stolarz over saves, Sens team total over shots. Jonathan just posted it in the chat. No argument. That is going to be, I think, a moneymaker down the stretch. Like, they get caved in their own zone constantly, the Leafs. They have been a shooting gallery their goaltend. It's been a shooting gallery on their goaltenders. Stolarz, Wool, doesn't matter who. The other team just racks up the shots because they're in the offensive zone so much against Toronto these days. So yeah, any team against the Leafs right now, to look at their shots on goal over as a team, to look at the Toronto goaltender, whoever it is, over saves, no argument to be made with that. Makes a ton of sense. Alex, what do you think here? Battle of Ontario.
Nothing pregame for me. This will be a live game, kind of watch and jump in on. Like you said, this is a spot where, Ottawa should put the screws to Toronto, but I don't want to take lay that price with the 3.5. I've gotten burned the last couple of nights betting that over 4, either pushing or losing on that. So maybe wait for that team total live. But like I said, nothing pregame for this one.
All right, there we go. Nothing pregame for Alex here with the Leafs and the Senators. And I don't like I've usually with the Battle of Ontario, I usually make a case for the draw, not with the current version of the Leafs. I think because last time Ottawa played them in Toronto, this was February 28th. This is when the Leafs were falling out of the playoff race. Ottawa just dominated them. It shouldn't have even Toronto. It's actually flattering that game was 5-2 in favor of Ottawa last month in Toronto. 40-23 were the shots on goal in favor of Ottawa. That's why I think the Ottawa team shots on goal over and Anthony Stolarz over saves bets are awesome bets tonight. They are going to, Ottawa's going to get 30, 35, 40 shots probably again. They got 40 in Toronto the last time they played the Toronto Maple Leafs. Why wouldn't they go look at it? Look at these shots that they're giving up every single time right now, the Leafs. 36 to Carolina, 34 to the Islanders, 38 to Minnesota, 33 to Buffalo, 40 to Anaheim, 32 to Montreal, 32 to Tampa Bay. I mean, this is 7 straight games where they've given up into the 30s in shots against to their opponent. So, I actually probably like that the shots on goal and the Stolarz over saves just as much as I like the Ottawa team total over, honestly. I think it's a really good look. And this is something you can keep looking at in games involving Toronto down the stretch because their defense, they just get caved in. They don't have the puck half the time. They just get hemmed in their own zone and they get running around, and it becomes very difficult for them to kill plays in the defensive zone right now. That much you see every single game from the Leafs at the moment. As far as props for this Leafs and Sens game, for me, Foegele scored last game for the Senators. I like the value here in that plus 480 range. Pinto as well. Pinto scored last game, so we'll roll with both of them on the Ottawa side. For Toronto, it looks like Tavares, Robertson, and Easton Cowan could be the top line look for Craig Berube's team tonight. So Cowan and Nick Robertson, probably there's some value with both of them here tonight for the Leafs. So I might sprinkle on those two to find the back of the net. Don't know how much Toronto's going to score against this hard-checking Ottawa team. But like I said, Robertson and Cowan definitely might have some value here. All right, next up, we've got St. Louis, Vancouver. Now, this is a 7 p.m. Eastern start for Hockey Night in Canada, 4 p.m. On the West Coast for those in Vancouver. St. Louis minus 140, road favorites, 5.5 the total. This is a Blues money line team total over split for me in this game. Now, the Blues have let me down a couple times, so maybe I shouldn't be coming back to the St. Louis Blues here, but Vancouver is back to being that, given that dead as a doornail look again, Vancouver, the last couple of games. It's not been pretty. They got totally ambushed in their own building by Tampa Bay the other night, 6-2 loss to the Lightning. I think St. Louis should be able to have some success offensively here in this game. So I'll go with that Blues money line team total over split. I'm also going to take this over 5.5 as well, minus 125. Series history, we're leaning on that. 6 straight overs head-to-head between the St. Louis Blues and the Vancouver Canucks. So there you go. We'll get in on that with the over 5.5 here with the Blues and the Canucks, as well as a split between Blues minus 140 and Blues team total over here in this one. Alex, St. Louis, Vancouver.
This is a complete pass for me. I mean, it's late March. No reason to bet on 2 bad teams. Like I said, I've gotten burned with St. Louis as well recently of late. So it's pass.
Nothing wrong. Yeah, Pittsburgh already on the board, 1-0. So they're nice, quick and painless. The losing the Jets' first goal, first period. So no argument there with that. But holy shit, again. Holy fuck, 2-0 Penguins.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jets team may have checked out.
Yeah, I guess that Boston game might have been the extinguishing of the flame, if you will, of the hard effort for playoffs. Wow.
Amazing.
2-0 Pittsburgh. What a start.
Yeah.
2-0. It's good for the over. I am on over 6, so we can cash that now. Giddy up. Let's go. Keep it coming. The over was the bigger bet, so which is the good news for me. I kept that's the bigger money on the over compared to Jets' first goal first. I'm just shocked it was just like that. Wow. Yeah, this might be one of those games where if Pittsburgh keeps this up, you maybe look at all puck lines, because this could it got away against Boston the other night for this Winnipeg Jets team.
That's true.
I have a feeling too there could be a coaching change coming in Winnipeg at the end of the season. I don't know if Scott Arniel is going to be back. That's just a feeling in my mind, but you got to think now they're probably going to miss the playoffs. And like I said, if this is a disappointing season, I could see Arniel paying the price here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We'll see. That's something to talk about during the end of the season. As far as props, getting back to St. Louis and Vancouver, as we were so rudely interrupted with this explosion here by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Early in this game, Holloway, he scored in back-to-back games for St. Louis, so we'll roll with him as far as a goal prop for the St. Louis Blues in this game. Liam Ogren scored last game. Linus Karlsson, I mean, those are a couple of guys to keep an eye on. They've certainly been getting their chances of late for the Vancouver Canucks, so those are a couple of props maybe to keep your eye on here for this game involving them. Let me see what else we can find here as far as props here. I think there was, of course, Snuggerud, Thomas. We've talked about them. Drew O'Connor, that was the other one for Vancouver because he's up on the top line with Pettersson and DeBrusk. Rossi had been chipping in lately. He didn't score last game, but Rossi is someone might be worth consideration here. I do think we could see some goals in that game. The one thing Vancouver's still doing is offensively they've been able to score a little bit lately. So that's why I think this over 5.5, considering 6 straight overs between these two teams, I think the over does have a shot there with the Blues and the Canucks. All right, Islanders and Canadiens. Next up, we got Montreal minus 125, home favorites, 5.5 the total in some spots, 6 at others. So shop around as far as this one is concerned. Montreal, disappointing loss to the Detroit Red Wings on Thursday. They'll certainly be looking to bounce back from that loss here in this matchup against the Islanders. It's such a huge game in the standings because the Islanders, starting this Saturday on the outside looking in, as far as the playoffs are concerned, looking at them being obviously passed by tied. Columbus tied them as far as points are concerned, but because Columbus has a game in hand, they get the spot over the Islanders, that third spot in the Metro. So 83 points, but the Islanders are on the outside looking in at the moment. So how do they respond to being in the position they're in right now? That's going to be the big question. Montreal off a loss to the Detroit Red Wings. So I expect both teams to certainly be amped up to bounce back, get a win. Islanders off the heartbreaking 3-2 loss to Ottawa, where Brady Tkachuk scores with 12 seconds left. I expect both teams to show up here in this game. I think on a Saturday night at home, I'd lean to Montreal a little bit. That being said, the Islanders have been tough on them. They've won 4 of the last 5 meetings. That's not a strong opinion on the Montreal side, but I'm leaning a little bit to the Habs here at home on a Saturday night. It looks like, as far as goaltending is concerned, Fowler for the Habs, Sorokin for the Islanders. Both goaltenders have been confirmed. Josh Anderson day-to-day, by the way, for the Canadiens. And then as far as, and by the way, I should point out, too, we've had 3 of the last 4 go over. So at 5.5, I do lean over as well. But you know what I really like? And if you really handicap this game, you would notice it. Well, we know the Islanders are always a threat to cash a draw. Now, only in 3 of the last 10 games they've gone past regulation. And for Montreal, it's only 2 of the last 8 have gone past regulation. But when these teams play head-to-head against one another, they are overtime magnets. How about not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but how about 5 straight meetings between these teams going past regulation for the Islanders and the Canadiens? So give me the draw. Like I said, I don't know if it benefits, both teams would like to get 2 points and not have the other team get 1, but I think it's still important for both teams to get a point if we're tied late. Like, every point is so valuable right now, especially now for the Islanders, a team like them who are on the outside looking in for the first time in weeks as far as a playoff spot. So this draw, it's impossible not to bet it. In my mind, impossible not to bet it when you see that 5 straight meetings between them have gone past regulation. The Jets have scored, but I think it's under review. That's what we're waiting on here with it. But yeah, I like the draw here. Islanders, Habs most of all. Alex, what do you think here? Islanders, Canadiens.
I'm all over the draw. I actually got plus 320 yesterday. It's dropped down. There's a 315 available at Bet Online. But when you got 5 in a row, something you definitely have to roll, especially 2 teams that are directly battling for one another. This is one, too, where if you're watching and you're betting live, if it is tied 2-2, 3-3, what have you, with about maybe 8-7 minutes left in the third, I would bet that regulation no goal, rest of regulation. Sometimes you see that in a 3-way split where you'll see team to score next goal regulation. It'll say Montreal, New York, no goal. I would maybe take a shot with no goal because, like I said, if this is tied with at least 5-6 minutes left in the third period, I think it's just going to just grind to a halt. 2 teams take their point and battle for that second point later. So I am all over this draw.
There you go, the draw. And this could be one of those games, too. And you mentioned how it could start with a flurry and die down. This could be one of those classic go for the first period, both teams to score here. Yeah, possibly in a spot like this. You could see it, especially with this being on a Saturday night. The Winnipeg goal is going to stand. Pittsburgh challenged it. They lost the challenge. So it's actually going to be 2-1, and now a Jets power play as well. So a little life from Winnipeg. Boy, they need a goal there. It looked like they were about to get just absolute run out of the PPG Arena or whatever the hell they call it. And I think it is still PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh. But yeah, draw, lean abs, lean over. Those are going to be smaller opinions for me. As far as props for this game, there are a couple that stand out. Right now, there's a couple of things I like for the Islanders here. Emil Heineman stepped up lately for the Islanders. 3 goals in the last 4 games. He's also a former Montreal Canadiens player. So got to look toward him as far as a goal prop tonight. We've got Lee, Horvat, Barzell on the top line. So yeah, Emil Heineman I like quite a bit as far as Islanders are concerned. Slavkovsky with Suzuki and Caulfield. We saw him score their only goal against the Detroit Red Wings the other night. Kapanen, probably worth a shot as well. So those are a couple of the props I'm interested in on the side for the Montreal Canadiens here in this big-time matchup here between the Islanders and Habs, as both teams needing the points. And that's one of the best games of the night slate. But how about ABC? Finally, they get a good one, like a really good one and a meaningful game for remember, there's no ABC Saturday afternoon game this Saturday, and the reason for that is because their Saturday hockey game is a night game in prime time, and it's the Boston Bruins taking on the Detroit Red Wings. We've got Detroit minus 120 home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this one. This should be a great game. This is a massive game, of course, as well, with both teams battling for a playoff positioning. So very important to try to get get the 2 points here if you can. Yeah, that's a good point about the Islander Habs game. Dobson, that's true. Dobson, for Montreal against his former team. If you're interested in Noah Dobson props, I could see that. No question. Schaefer, maybe trying to one-up the Dobson on the other side. And Cole Caulfield. We didn't even mention Mr. Saturday Night. It's true. It seems like I'm always just going right to over 1.5 goals with Cole Caulfield on a Saturday night. But we know he has scored multiple goals on a Saturday night before for the Montreal Canadiens. So, yeah, we'll probably get involved with that.
For me, it's automatic at this point. I bet his anytime goal. I got plus 155, and I got 10-1 at MGM on 2 goals. So
yeah.
I'll be betting that the rest of the way on Saturdays.
Good stuff. Boston, Detroit, as far as this is another draw sprinkle for me. Again, I hate to be redundant, but 5 of the last 7 Bruins games have gone past regulation. Detroit, not as much, but we saw that game nearly got, and I was on the draw with Detroit, Montreal. It nearly got there. So, yeah, I like the draw. I could only look at Detroit. Boston on the road is a no bet for me. No chance right now with Boston on the road. I don't like what I see from them away from home, and they continue to struggle. Other than one win against Washington in a shootout, and they were fortunate to win that, quite honestly, they have just been brutal on the road. I think it's now 1-9 or 1-10, something like that. The run for the Boston Bruins on the road in the last 10, 11 road games, they got like one road win. Cannot back the Bruins on the road right now. Just can't. They got to step up, and they haven't been able to do that. They have been competitive on the road. These last 3 road losses were all in overtime, by the way. That's another thing, too, about this Boston. 5 of 7 have gone past regulation. 4 straight Bruins road games have gone past regulation as well. So this draw is another must bet. Got to take it. Got to take it. So draw. Probably will sprinkle on Detroit too, -120. It's just too much body of work, too much evidence, too big a sample size right now with Boston on the road, just being inept and not able to get the job done. So Red Wings -120 in the draw for me. Alex, what do you think here? Bruins, Red Wings.
I think a little sprinkle of Detroit first goal, first period, +130 along with that draw. I could see them getting, like I said, primetime game, home crowd, fighting for the playoffs. Remember, this is a building, Little Caesars Arena, that has never seen a playoff game. This is a Red Wings team that's fighting like hell to try to finally break their own playoff streak. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a playoff atmosphere in that building tonight. So I think the Red Wings can ride that and get that first goal in the first period. But ultimately, like I said, got to back the draw here with the way Boston's been playing on the road, keeping games close. So first goal, first period for Red Wings and the draw.
Yeah, and that's a great point by Jonathan. Yes, Boston and Detroit head-to-head. They've only had 2 of the last 5 meetings go past regulation, but 5 of the last 6 head-to-head meetings have been decided by 1 goal. So there you go. Like, we've been flirting with overtime constantly when these two teams face each other. 5 of the last 6 Bruins-Red Wings games decided by exactly 1 goal. And even though only 1 of those went to overtime, like I said, it's been right there with a chance, to go to overtime. So the draw is, something you got to look at, for at least for me. For us draw folks, buy into draw season, you got to look at it here in this one. There's some good draw spots. Like, how many have we talked? How many am I on draws? I'm looking at it right. I'm on Philly, San Jose. I'm on Dallas, Minnesota. I'm on Seattle, Columbus.
I'm on 5 of them.
I'm on Islanders, Habs, and now this one, Bruins and Red Wings. Holy shit! If we even hit just a couple of these, I mean, we're dancing. We're dancing. We're rolling if we even hit a couple of these, no question. But yeah, it's just welcome to this time of the season too. Like, and the results don't lie. I mean, a lot of games have been going past regulation with these teams that need the points. All right, as far as props for this Bruins-Red Wings game, this is ABC, of course, tonight. McDonough and Ray Ferraro calling it. For Boston, we've got, looks like, I'm going to go back to Husnadinov and Minton, still playing on the top line with Pasternak as far as the Bruins are concerned. For Detroit, going into this one, Compher, is someone that I think that's where the value is right now. And JT Compher is centering the top line right now for this Red Wings team, playing with DeBrincat and Kane. So I think he's worth a shot here at this point in time. He also scored one of their goals against Montreal the other night. He scored in 2 of the last 5 games for this Red Wings team. It's worth noting Arvidsson and Minton also scored last game. Andrew Kopp back in the lineup, scoring the other night as well for Detroit. So do you maybe look in that direction, possibly? He's on the 3rd line, but he played a really good game in his return against the Montreal Canadiens the other night. That I still think he's worth consideration here as far as props are concerned. All right, our last game for this Saturday slate, and it is, like I said, a big Saturday slate. We've got the Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Tampa Bay -135 road favorites here in this game. Total sitting at 6.5, shaded to the over between these two teams. Now, Edmonton was really poor against the Florida Panthers the other night in that 4-0 shutout loss. We talked about how we thought, I thought at least, in the San Jose game, the first game without Leon Draisaitl, they'd step up. Everyone would pull up their bootstraps. They'd play a hard game, and they did. They played a solid game. They got a 5-3 win. And sure enough, a lot of times, the second game after losing one of your best players to injury, that's the game you fall off. And that's exactly what we saw. They got shut out 4-0 by the Florida Panthers. It was a really awful performance on home ice by Edmonton. I expect them to want to bounce back, and I think they're going to play hard tonight. Will it be enough to win is another question. Tampa Bay off to a great start on this road trip, pounding the Vancouver Canucks and Seattle Kraken by a combined score of 12-4, identical 6-2 victories in both of those games. So, like I said, should be interesting to see how this goes. Connor Ingram still in net. Obviously, you're not going to fault him for losing to Florida 4-0. He had no run support offensively, and the injuries mounting. It's not just Draisaitl shut down. Colton Dach injured again, still without Janmark. Trent Frederick out again. Not that he's a needle mover, but he's out again for the Edmonton Oilers. You are still banged up a little on the blue line for Tampa. Emil Lilleberg, Declan Carlisle, and it looks like Victor Hedman is on the injury report as well due to an illness. Day-to-day, he actually didn't finish the game against Vancouver the other night because of that illness, but day-to-day, questionable to suit up here tonight in this game. Yeah, Cole saying Oilers dogs at home. I love it. I'm kind of leaning Edmonton. I just feel Edmonton's going to show up tonight. It's it's a big-time team coming in. They were terrible last game. I just don't know if I want to go against Tampa that badly right now. So, I'm kind of lukewarm on this game. I lean over, but I'm going to see if I can get a 5.5. I don't know if I definitely know I don't want to take over 6.5 at -140 right now. That's just not a price I'm interested in. But Tampa got to 6 by themselves the first 2 games of this road trip, albeit it was lesser competition, Vancouver, Seattle. But I was on the over in the Vancouver game, and I lean over here, but I'm just going to see if I can get a little bit better number and price during the game. Alex, final game. What do you think here? Lightning Oilers.
I got a lot of stuff in action tonight, so this is another pass for me.
Nothing wrong with that. All right. As far as props for me, Tampa Bay and Edmonton, there are a couple props I like here as far as this game, though. Cirelli has scored in back-to-back games for Tampa. So has Hagel and Kucherov as well. So those are some props to look at. But the one I like just from a value standpoint, I like is Cirelli. Cirelli with back-to-back games with a goal, and you're getting a really good bargain bin level price for him to find the back of the net tonight for Tampa Bay. Gonzalez with Point and Gensel. On the second line, I think there's some solid value there. For Edmonton, Savoy with McDavid and Hyman. I think Matt Savoy is someone to consider. Kapanen and Podkolzin with the Nuge currently on the second line. I could look maybe in those 2 directions as well. Nugent-Hopkins has basically taken the Draisaitl spot, centering that second line right now. So that means his wingers might have some value. In this case, it's expected to be Kasperi Kapanen and Vasily Podkolzin. I got to shut out Vasily Podkolzin a little bit too. He has really stepped it up as far as defending his teammates. He's gotten in a couple fights lately, Podkolzin, defending teammates, showing that physicality. So props to him for doing that. I love to see it. Especially love it when it's a player getting out of their comfort zone a little bit, not used to fighting on a regular basis. So shout out to Vasily Podkolzin for doing that. All right, that's a great breakdown of the Saturday card. Looking forward to it. Shout out to everyone in our chat that has joined us on this Saturday show. 550 live viewers currently. We appreciate it very much. All of you joining us here on a Saturday. No doubt, we appreciate it. It means we know what we're doing. It's going 7 days a week when we have great viewership like this on a Saturday afternoon. All right, wizardsportspicks.com. Check it out. Number 1 in college basketball and NHL on the website. Get on board. Daily premium picks. Long-term passes is available as well. March Madness rolling along. NHL and NBA on a daily basis. And Major League Baseball. I can't even believe I'm saying that. Starts this week.
5 days away.
I know. Crazy. Yeah, we can't even get out of March and baseball starting already. Welcome to the world of 2026. But wizardsportspicks.com, check it out. Patreon.com/Ice Guys, $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. So make sure you check it out, get on board. And those of you that still are interested in it, the $50 off Dub Club All Sports 1 month subscription is still available only to Patreon Ice Guys members. I've only made that offer available on the page, so you can take advantage of that still if you want. All that and more. Again, your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. It is 72 degrees here in St. Paul, just coming off of where we had a blizzard maybe 5 or 6 days ago. The weather's crazy, so get yourself a nice hoodie, nice jacket, maybe a couple of caps, a t-shirt, whatever you like. We can get all that with the Ice Guys logos and designs, and take advantage of that right now over at the Ice Guys store. That's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Good stuff indeed. Oh, thank you for saying that in the chat. I meant to say something about it, but absolutely. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris. I loved this guy and everything he did. He was an accomplished martial artist. He was actually one of the greats in martial arts. Yep. He really was. He was accomplished. He won championships. He won tournaments, in martial arts in his younger days. Then he got into acting, TV stuff, movie stuff, opposite Bruce Lee, the all-time great in some of his movies in the 70s and 80s. I watched a lot of those Chuck Norris movies and shows early in his life once I grew up a bit. And even actually as a kid at the time, just as I was growing up, 6, 7, 8 years old, that's when his Saturday night CBS show started, Walker, Texas Ranger. And it was my grandfather loved that show. He'd put it on every Saturday night at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And it was a great show, man. For television, for just a network TV show, the effort they put into that, the storylines, he was a Texas Ranger. He'd work on certain cases he was working on, and obviously he's Chuck Norris, right? Obviously, when things got physical, he could defend himself, and he did it with karate. He did it with martial arts in the show. And some of the martial arts fight scenes in the Walker Texas Ranger show were outstanding. It's like you were watching a movie, and yet it was a TV show. It was a network TV show. And what's incredible about the success of Walker Texas Ranger is it was a fucking Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time slot, that show. That's where shows go to fail. That's you're trying to bury a show and get it off the air when you put it at Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern. That's the time slot of doom. That show made it for 9 seasons. 9. Almost got to double-digit seasons in a horrendous time slot. Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. And yet, because it was so popular and it got enough people watching, probably because Chuck Norris was the driver of that show, Walker Texas Ranger survived for 9 seasons in an all-time brutal scheduling spot. Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. I can't say enough how impressive that is. And it shows you how popular the show was, Alex. But rest in peace, Chuck Norris. He'll be missed.
That's a very, very good point, because it wasn't that late here, but it was still Saturday night. I think Saturday night, 8 o'clock, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And that just shows you how TV has changed over the years. You wouldn't dare put a show that had those kind of ratings in that spot and in that day. But it worked. And like you said, people absolutely love Chuck Norris. He's a guy he's one of those guys, truly, we talk about all the different martial artists over, film history. Him and Bruce Lee are the two guys where if the UFC had existed during their times, they most certainly would have competed in that. We saw him later start World Combat League. He was heavily involved, like I said, kickboxing and karate, and just a true martial artist. They always said he would, sit down and talk to any kid who was interested in martial arts and, spend his time and really, teaching the discipline and teaching the whole space of what martial arts is really about. So, like I said, just and then of course the wonderful memes throughout the years that we all laughed and chuckled about. But like I said, he was someone who was a force to be reckoned with, a great actor, and someone who would definitely be missed. So rest in peace, Chuck Norris.
Yeah, he will be missed. There's no doubt. Like I said, watched a lot of the TV movie, and he did a lot of philanthropic stuff too. Very, very giving of his time to other people as well. And one of the all-time great cameos too he had in Dodgeball. I still remember that as well in that movie from about 20 years ago. So yeah, like I said, great career, a heck of a guy. Absolutely will be missed. That is a great point. That's what I was chuckling about what Pie Guy said. What's worse, that scheduling of Walker Texas Ranger or NHL? Actually, NHL scheduling might be better. quite honestly.
Yeah.
Like, that's brutal putting that at Saturdays at 10 Eastern, and yet it still survived and was on for 9 seasons, which is pretty damn impressive. And by the way, I'm not going to play it, but check it out. I reposted it anyway on my Twitter. The Walker Texas Ranger intro song, the theme song to that show. It's great. It's just in the eyes of a Ranger, the unsuspected stranger had better know the truth of wrong from right. Like Chuck said it in this like little Johnny Cash like drone voice, basically. Yep. And then he did a little song, "'Cause the eyes of a Ranger are upon you." It was actually one of the underrated TV themes, I think, of the 90s. It was I always got a kick out of that. That's what a Ranger's got to do. Great stuff. R.I.P. Chuck. He will definitely be missed. All right, bargain bin special of the night, best bets. We got that coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guy sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
All right, great. And one last point on Chuck, great point in the chat. People probably think because of that show, Walker, Texas Ranger, that he's from Texas. He's a Texan. He's not. No. He's from Oklahoma. That's an excellent point. Very important to point that out. But you're right, honorary Texan for sure, no question. All right, bargain bin special of the night. We certainly got a lot to choose from for this Saturday slate. Alex, we'll start with you. Bargain bin special of the night.
I've got a pair of them, but before we get to that, I got to remind everyone, if you are in the Chicagoland area tomorrow, please pick up a copy of the Chicago Sun-Times. The article that Rob Nish did on me will be posted in there in full. There's going to be some pictures in there as well, so definitely looking forward to that. So if you are in the Chicagoland area, you can get a hold of the Chicago Sun-Times. By all means, grab a copy. And it's a Sunday copy, which that's always the best paper copy to get with the Sun-Times, so definitely make a point of that. Tonight, bargain bin special. We'll start actually with the daytime game. We're going that Buffalo-LA game first, and we're looking at Josh Doan to get on the board. Anytime goal scorer, you can get plus 330 with him over at FanDuel. So that's a spot I really like. We like the Sabres in that game. So it could be Josh Doan, anytime goal, plus 330. That's my first bargain bin special of the day, I guess you say. And then for the nighttime, we like Cole Caulfield, right? We're usually going to go with him anytime goal scorer. We're going to go with him 2 goals. But the bargain bin special play is Cole Caulfield's first goal of the game at 10-1. That's my second bargain bin special play.
All right, there you go. Good stuff for bargain bin special of the night for Alex. Bargain bin special for me. I've got 2 bargain bin specials for this slate. The first one, I'm going to go with Emil Heineman for the New York Islanders. We've won a bargain bin with him before, plus 420. Not only has he been in good form lately for the Islanders, but back in Montreal against the Canadiens, a former member of the Montreal Canadiens as well. I like how it sets up for Emil Heineman, New York Islanders, plus 420. That'll be my first bargain bin special of the night for this Saturday slate. And the second one, we're going to go to that late game, Tampa Bay, Edmonton. He's heating up. He's currently also up the lineup for the Lightning as well. John Cooper has had him certainly on the top line with Kucherov and with Hagel. Centering that unit, Anthony Cirelli for the Tampa Bay Lightning, plus 350 to find the back of the net. He's on a consecutive game, a goal-scoring streak. So Emil Heineman for the New York Islanders at plus 420, and Anthony Cirelli for the Tampa Bay Lightning, plus 350 for my 2 Saturday bargain bin specials of the night. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you got for best bet?
Well, hopefully we see Heineman and Caulfield get those goals in that game, but hopefully it takes a little bit longer than 60 minutes to get it done with the Isles and the Habs. 5 meetings in a row. 5 meetings have gone past regulation. Let's hope for 6. Give me the draw with New York and Montreal as my best bet.
All right, good stuff. The draw. New York Islanders, Montreal Canadiens for Alex B. Smith with his best bet. My best bet, boy, is it nice to be off the schneid. Thanks to the Anaheim Ducks last night getting it done against the Utah Mammoth. For my best bet tonight, I am going to go to that Blues Canucks over 5.5. I like it. I like the Blues too, but I like the total just as much, if not more. Because Vancouver's actually been putting up a fight offensively lately. They've been scoring some goals, especially at home. Remember, they put 5 on the board against Florida earlier this week, but their defense has gone back downhill again. They gave up 6 to Tampa in that loss the other night. I think St. Louis will score some goals tonight in this game, and I think Vancouver chips in as well. And 6 straight meetings between St. Louis and Vancouver have gone over the total. So St. Louis, Vancouver, over 5.5, minus 125 for my best bet here for this Saturday. All right, shout out to everyone. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it very much. Hit the like button on the way out. And like I said, tomorrow we'll do all the Sunday games, and the one Monday game will be off Monday and then back Tuesday with the Daily Show and the live betcast at night. Looking forward to it. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we'll see you Sunday, noon Eastern for another edition of the Ice Guys.